Live from Moulton, PA, this is Comic Geek Speak episode 1643, the CGS Best of 2016 Awards Results Show.
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek. Uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Everly.
Comic Geek Speak.
And welcome to the show. Yes, it's awards night. The red carpet is rolled out. Merged in his actual tux, for Christ's sake.
Well, the chicken suit was in the wash.
The chicken suit is in the wash. I actually left my tuxedo t-shirt at home, so I'm wearing my Yingling hoodie. So I'm slumming it tonight.
Close enough for radio.
Yeah, and Chris, I'm not sure if he's even wearing pants.
I'm wearing one of my legendary cardigans, gentlemen.
Legendary. Very good.
At least in my own mind.
All right. Well, this has become a time-honored tradition here at CGS, where we go and review the previous years in comics in several categories. Well, actually, you tell about the whole story there, Mr. Murd. You have much more eloquent than I am about the history of the award show.
You're too kind, sir. All right, so it's a tradition that was begun by one of our founding fathers, Peter the Rios, way back in the days of yore. It was his idea to give some additional recognition to the creators and their creations that made the year that was in comics great. And so he's the one who devised the basic outline for the list of 16 categories in which we still nominate and vote comics and creators as best of a given year today. So we've got awards right here for all 16 of those categories, all lined up and ready to go. We all on the show nominated something in each of those categories, and we solicited nominations from the listeners. And between us and them, we put together a slate of nominees and then asked the listeners to join in voting for those nominees in each category. And that's how we arrived at the 16 winners whose names are inscribed in these sealed and painstakingly lettered, calligraphed envelopes that I have stacked here before me. Yes. Brian's got a stack. I've got a stack. I've even got a stack here for Chris, which he will be reading via Stickcam remotely from his home in New Jersey.
Honored.
So how did the voting go? Did you get a good turnout for voting?
Yes. I was very pleased with the number of ballots we received. It was considerably larger than the number of nominations we received, which is
excellent.
Not too surprising, since voting's a little bit easier than nominating.
Very good.
But yes, I thank everyone who took the time to fill those ballots out and email them in. We really look forward to this every year because it's one of the best opportunities for interaction with our listenership that we get all year long. So.
Yeah, and as always, Adam, well, not always, but now recently Adam has taken the mantle of tabulating all the votes, so he is our...
I am PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Well, or our law firm is Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, actually. Or what's the one that has L's in it that we said from the Marvel Universe?
Landau, Luckman, and Lake.
That's the one.
Yes.
Lovely.
Stop it with your alliteration! All right, well then, if there's no further ado, I guess we'll just jump right in. And I guess we'll start at the beginning. We have to figure out who has what category.
All right.
So I believe the first category is the best new hero. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm jumping in your thunder.
No, go right ahead.
Is the best new hero or hero team that debuted in 2016.
We're all co-presenters here, after all.
Okay. Do you listen to nominees as well, then?
I certainly do. I've got
Okay.
all kinds of fun stuff on this little computer screen in front of me here. All right, so the nominees in the category of Best New Hero or Hero Team of 2016 are The Champions from Marvel Comics, the new young hero group from Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos. The group of heroes that I nicknamed the Spiral City 7, like the main cast of Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer. Sugar and Spike from DC's Legends of Tomorrow anthology series, brought to us by Bilkis Evely and Keith Giffen. And Superwoman from Phil Jimenez, DC Comics.
Okay.
And now, I'm opening the envelope.
Good God, man.
Somewhat pointless exercise, since I already know full well what name is printed on the piece of paper inside. But the winner is the Spiral City 7.
Yes!
Yay. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah.
Of Black Hammer. As that crew of lovable misfits and castaways from continuity stole all of our hearts this year.
Definitely one of the best new comics of 2016, in my view.
Abraham Slam, Golden Gale, Colonel Weird and his robotic adjutant, Talkie-Walkie, Barbalian, Madame Dragonfly, and the lingering specter of the Black Hammer himself. By name.
Excellent.
So, yes, the listeners have spoken, and they are our winner for this year. Congratulations to Jeff Lemire for his creations acknowledgement there. All right?
I almost did my Karnak impersonation with, hold in my hand the envelopes. But I couldn't do that. But I do hold in my hand the next category, Best New Villain or Villain Team to debut in 2016. And the nominees are Dylan Cross from Kill or Be Killed, Godspeed from The Flash, Steve Rogers, Agent of Hydra, and Ultra Woman and her Bizarrus, Bizarruses.
You got it.
Bizarruses from Superwoman. And the winner is, I'm doing this.
Oh, manually.
Come on, again, it's Karnak. I live for Karnak. Steve Rogers, Agent of Hydra.
All right.
My goodness, yes.
And I got to tell you, folks, that was close.
How close
One
was it?
vote.
One vote. See, every vote counts.
It sure as shooting does.
And who was second, Mert?
Second, Chris, you'll be happy to know, was Dylan Cross, the protagonist of Brubaker and Phillips's Kill or Be Killed.
Excellent. Well, I can't begrudge the tally or the turnout, not the turnout, the results, because the Steve Rogers Hydra agent storyline I think is just very compelling, and I love when they take an iconic character and just turn everything on its head, and they really have here. It's one of the best books Marvel has right now.
And this is Nick Spencer writing, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Onwards and upwards. I believe the next category is Best New Comic, where the first issue shipped in 2016.
Right you are.
Oh, the nominees. Oh, who's reading this one? Is this a Chris one?
It's a Chris one.
Okay. So, Chris, the nominees on this category are Briggs Land, Future Quest, Kill or Be Killed, and Silver Surfer.
All right. All fine choices. This does my heart good, I must admit. And the winner is Brubaker and Phillips, Kill or Be Killed.
Huzzah.
Right.
Yes, and I was somewhat surprised when I was adding up the final votes to find that, for the Best New Villain or Team, that Dylan Cross had come up short as the winner in that category, since a lot of people voted for that character in that category, and almost everybody who voted for him as Best Villain also voted for Kill or Be Killed as Best New Comic.
Aha.
So, yes, Kill or Be Killed did win pretty handily in the category of Best New Comic.
And, as I say many times when we do episodes where we review comics, specifically like the spotlights, when we start talking about these books and I hear the discussions on them, it just makes me go, okay, I got to stop what I'm doing, get in my car, get back in my car, cut my Lawson, and start reading these goddamn books.
Go to this Labatkin cutoff.
That's correct. So it's like, because, Chris profusely, oh my God, I've lost my ability to speak. Chris just praises this thing up and down. But, I enjoy The Silver Surfer. That was my nominee for this category, and it's a fine book. But, yeah, I'm going to have to start checking out these other books because there's a lot of
once
good...
again, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Once again, the fact that you have all these outstanding entries for this category, and that's a tough choice because every title mentioned is outstanding. It just shows what a great year 2016 has been for comics.
Mm-hmm. All right. I believe the next category is Best Limited Series, where the last issue shipped in 2016.
That is correct.
All right.
And the nominees in this category, it is the broadest field of any category we had this year,
Yes, it is.
are as follows. Britannia from Valiant Entertainment, Death of X from Marvel, Klaus from Grant Morrison and Boom Studios, The Shadow, The Death of Margot Lane from Matt Wagner and Dynamite Entertainment, Superman, Lois and Clark, DC Comics, Tokyo Ghost from Image, and The Vision, Tom King, Gabriel Walta, and Marvel. Here is the envelope. It has already been snipped open, extracting the slip of paper, and the winner is The Vision.
Oh,
Of course.
yeah, that was... I think that was one of my choices. I think
It was your choice,
It was
sir.
my choice, and obviously there's many other choices of our listeners, and we've heard so much about it. And now I see I believe Marvel is cashing in on this and issuing, I think, 2 issues together with like commentary and like behind the scenes things coming. I saw Tom posted that on Facebook, the Facebook.
Who's providing the commentary? Will it be Tom?
That's a great question, and I'm going to see if I can try and find that out here as I stall for time. So keep.
Murd, was the Vision a runaway winner, or was it close?
It was very nearly the biggest landslide in the entire awards process this time, Chris.
That's not surprising.
Yes, very few people voted for anything else, honestly. I mean, and granted, since it was a large field, the other votes were spread kind of thin. But the only thing that garnered anything like a significant number of votes, other than the Vision, was Superman, Lois, and Clark. And the Vision still got more than 3 times as many votes as that did. So it was definitely a runaway for the Vision, and deservedly so.
I agree.
Okay, just announced, Marvel, this actually is from February 21st, is releasing a director's cut version of Vision. Each issue will contain 2 issues of the series with some corrections, as well as a lot of background material from all the creators, including my scripts and my original pitch. This is Tom King talking here.
Okay.
So there you have it there. So check that out. Coming soon to a comic book store near you. All right. Up next is the best single issue / one shot. And the nominees are DC Universe Rebirth #1, Lock and Key Small World, Star Wars Special C-3PO The Phantom Limb, and The Vision #7. And the winner is... This had better be who I think it is. I'll be very upset. I'll make my... yes! DC Universe Rebirth #1.
I didn't think the listeners would disappoint you.
Oh, God. I mean, I nominated this issue. I love this issue. It's a great issue. It's a tremendous one-shot, a launching for the new Rebirth line. We did a whole show on it when it came out back in May. I've gone on ad nauseum about it, and I'm very, very happy this actually won the award for Best Single Issue One Shot, because I think it well deserved.
Oh, yes. Well, overwhelming favorite of the listeners, too, during the nominations process and, of course, during the voting process.
Very good.
Yep. And it was just such a heavily promoted and hyped one-shot, and
good. Lived up to
yes,
the hype.
that's the thing. It is kind of uncommon for such heavily hyped issues. It actually sort of lived up to its promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
delivered lots of really exciting teases and also some really great tug at the heartstrings and pique people's excitement moments, as we will see in the next category, too.
As Pants so passionately mentioned in our reviews of it, I mean, when Wally and Barry reunite, I mean, that's a powerful moment.
All right, so I believe the next category then is Best Cliffhanger / Moment.
That is the next category, indeed.
And is this a Chris category? We're going to let him read the winner for?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I read the nominees as Murray opens up the envelope. The nominees for Best Cliffhanger Moments from 2016 are The Death of Isabel from Saga number 38, 3 Jokers from Justice League number 50, The Flash remembers Wally West from DC Universe Rebirth #1, and the comedian button in the Batcave, again, from DC Universe Rebirth #1.
Yep. Testament to the quality and the influence of DC Rebirth one-shot.
Fingers crossed.
That it's nominated for 2 different things in this category.
Yes.
And now...
Pants?
Yes?
Flash remembers Wally West.
Hey! Woo! Another nominee of mine, and clearly I thought, just the best moment of comics in quite some time. Just an emotional, packed moment. Wow, I can't say much more than that. I mean,
Murd, was that close or was it a runaway?
It was close. Yeah, but it was really kind of a horse race between the 2 moments from DC Rebirth #1, and I wasn't sure the way it was going to go. I mean, during the nominations process, the discovery of the comedian's button was the favorite of the listeners. But after you nominated that moment with Wally and Barry, I mean, it had clearly hit a lot of readers where they live, and people were sort of reminded of that, I think, by your nomination, Brian, and they voted in that direction.
By his passionate nomination.
well, it also I'm trying to think if it shows, because we haven't seen Wally in comics since pre-Flashpoint or since pre-New 52, this particular Wally West.
Right.
And it's like, not only did the Flash, but I'm wondering how many actual readers forgot about him or didn't even know him because they came in from the New 52 or what have you. So this might be just a great kind of, who is this guy? What's the big deal? Hopefully that issue brought that out. And I'm enjoying his adventures right now in Titans.
Oh, yes.
And again, looking forward to The Button, the crossover with Batman, where we're sort of hopefully get some more information about what the whole plot of Rebirth was about. Yes.
Right.
Looking forward to that very much. So.
Yep, threads from that wonderful one-shot are continuing to be spun out across the DC universe even now.
So far, I must give kudos to listeners so far for their excellent taste in the award show here. Because so for a lot of things that I nominated have won, so I'm very happy about that.
And for those of you button boosters out there, you
button boosters,
yeah,
you and your alliteration again.
Yes, I know. Your favorite did not lose by very much.
All right, so it looks like the next category is Best Storyline within a series or across multiple series.
And all the nominees were of the former sort this time around. They were all within a single series as opposed to crossing over between various. The nominees in that category were Astro City, numbers 37 and 38. Black Widow, numbers 1 through 6, Mark Waid, Chris Samnee, and Marvel Comics. Doctor Strange, numbers 6 through 10, Jason Aaron, that's the Last Days of Magic story. And all 12 issues of Tom King's and Gabriel Hernandez Walter's The Vision. Snip goes the envelope.
Just rip the darn thing, for God's sake.
He's got scissors there ready to go.
And the winner is The Vision, numbers 1 through 12.
Cleaning up. Woo!
As I just mentioned, excellent story. So much of the guy could be reprinting it with bonus content. My God, I mean, we've all gone on and on about what a great book this is and how it was interesting. Marvel letting Tom have free reign, more or less.
Well, and when you look back at the history of really any creative medium, when the people in charge, editors, what have you, let that happen, oftentimes you get gold. And what I especially loved about this story is that it felt like it really mattered when you read it. Like it felt like it was having a transformative impact on the character of the Vision in his world in a way that so many, overblown crossovers don't really have any lasting impact. This story really did.
And it just makes me wonder, and I don't know, I'm not sure if he's answered it anywhere, or I may have to ask him at some point when I see him next, but this was Tom King's only story at Marvel because he's now with DC exclusively. I'm wondering what might have been if he would have been allowed to write anything else in Marvel, what he would have had his eye on right next.
Pantsy, agonizingly titillating.
Would it have continued, or would he just have made it a 12 and out anyway?
Yeah, because I believe I read somewhere along the way, or when it first came out, that it was an ongoing, but then when it was announced he was going to DC, that's when it became finite, I believe. But I'm just wondering, let's say he would have stayed with Marvel, or just stayed, open. Would he have continued? What would have happened? What if? Let's do a what if. What if Tom King did not sign exclusive with DC Comics? What if?
Well, Pants, remember, no exclusive contract is forever.
That's true. Boy, look at you, Mr. Eberle. All right. Continuing on with the categories. The next category is Best Sleeper or Surprise Hit. And the nominees are Black Hammer, Carnage, Dreaming Eagles, The Flintstones, Sugar and Spike, and The Vision. And the winner is The Vision.
A lot of people this year were just voting the straight Vision ticket.
The straight Vision ticket? Well, hard to blame them. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was... Oh, I'm sorry. I do this, unfortunately, with a lot of Tom's work. Because, yes, I know him and he's a great writer, but I think I got the first issue of The Vision and just didn't continue on with it until I heard... Chris praised about it. Chris actually gave me issues, I think, 2 to 6.
Indeed.
And continued on from there, and that's how I kept going with the book. So it was a surprise to me how much I enjoyed this book, and obviously, clearly, so did the listeners.
And yet, all the titles we've been mentioning here that were in the categories of the Vision of one, they're all great, too.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God.
it just shows that, I think the Vision's a breakout for me because... It oftentimes when I think of breakout concepts or characters, I'm usually focused on independent titles and creators, but this is where again they let Tom tell his story, and everybody's the better for it, including the character. So.
Yeah, and that Sugar and Spike story, like I said, I was completely floored by that when I saw that. The combination of the artwork and the story, it's like, how is this not getting more attention out there? Great stuff. So yeah, and we mentioned before that is collected in trade. So do yourself a favor and look that up if you care to read more about Sugar and Spike.
The runner-up in that category was the Flintstones, actually.
Yeah, and that's another book I keep hearing a lot of things about.
Yeah, that's one of our takeaways from this best of awards process this year is that we ought to seek out some issues of the Flintstones. Yeah, there was one listener who voted in this election who apparently just found the podcast very recently. So recently he couldn't even participate in the nominations process.
Okay.
And one of the things he said was that he was a little surprised that we haven't been reading the Flintstones because he calls it one of the most subversive and postmodern comics on the stands today.
Wow.
Welcome aboard, James, by the way.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Yeah. Well, again, as I've mentioned many times, there are just so many things drawing our attention, whether it's time, money, other things. But maybe I might give it a shot, especially if it's been so highly recommended. I'm just not sure because, I have my idea of the Flintstones, what that's all about, part of my childhood and watching it. And I'm not sure I ever got any of the comics that were based that. I'm sure they did some comics, whether it was like Dell or Gold Key at some point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is taking it into a new direction. Maybe if with comic season coming up for conventions, maybe go through the dollar bins.
Exactly.
Because I think it's
C2E2.
I think that's a great shopping convention. I have to make sure I don't overpack my carry-ons when I come back. But I believe that's a $3.99 cover price book.
Yeah, probably.
And that might have been a turnoff. It's like you have to taking a risk on something like that. I mean, it's not like a huge financial risk, but still, $4 for a comic that you're not really sure about. Well, now that I've heard some good things about it, I might have to just
risk diminished.
Risk diminished, yes. All right, enough about me yammering on here. What is next category here?
Well, let's see. We just did Sleeper Surprise Hit. The next is Best Ongoing Comic, and that is going to be one of those that Chris reveals to the world.
Okay. So as Adam opens up the envelope here, again, the best ongoing comic that need not have begun publication in 2016.
It could have, but it doesn't have to have.
Right. So the nominees are Batman, Lazarus, Silver Surfer, and Star Wars.
And the winner is Pansy, the Silver Surfer.
Yes! All right! Woohoo! Wow, I thought it might have been, Batman with, Tom King and the Vision. But, Silver Surfer. Again, you're going to have me yammering on and on again. I'm sorry, folks.
This is a good thing. Go
ahead.
Well,
some people, it was my nominee, and I just love this book. Now, again, in 2016, it took on a new numbering, a new volume. But it was the same creative team, Dan Slott, Mike and Laura Allred on the art. And the story with Silver Surfer, Norman Rad, and Dawn Greenwood, and Toomey, my board. There's some self-contained stories. There's some long stories. It's got this, that, and other thing. I've yammered on about this ad nauseum at times, but I love this comic, and great stuff. Again, the Doctor Who-ish, like, oh my God, I'm rubbing my hands here, feel to the book with the Traveler and the Companion, going through time and space. And what character Dawn Greenwood is? Just her action with the Silver Surfer Norman Rad is just amazing. To pull to your heartstrings some of the issues this year. Just a great book, and it has fallen a little sometimes behind. It's not always monthly, but still, when it comes out, it's like right top of my pile all the time. Silver Surfer. Yay. Again, listeners, yay again for supporting the book that I nominated.
Oh, yay indeed, listeners, for supporting all the nominees,
exactly,
actually. Because
yes.
this is this one, the best ongoing comic, was the closest of the races. Yes. The winner and the last place finisher are separated by a mere 4 votes.
Wow.
So it was a tight pack. But yes, the Silver Surfer did come up on top by 1 vote.
Superb.
Over Batman, which was in turn 1 vote over Star Wars, which was in turn 2 votes over Lazarus.
Wow, so all your votes count.
Mm-hmm. Let this be instructive. It's a teachable moment, folks.
Teachable moment. Oh, my goodness.
So there we are. I'm very pleased with the parity we got overall in this year's voting. Every single nominee on the ballot got at least one vote. And all but one of the nominees got more than one vote, in fact. So, the love was spread around pretty well.
Very good.
Except nobody was, no nominee left behind. All right. Next up, we have the Best Graphic Album of 2016. This can be either an original graphic novel or a collection or a reprinting of material previously published serially. The nominees in the category are Dark Knight, A True Batman Story by Paul Dini, put out through DC. March, Book 3. Super Weird Heroes, Outrageous But Real from Yo Books. And Wonder Woman, The True Amazon, DC. And the winner, by quite a large margin, Dark Knight, A True Batman Story.
Again, I have heard about this book, and we talked about it, that it's Paul Dini talking about like 25 years ago when he was mugged, and how, I guess, sort of, the Batman story helped him get back into...
Helped him, get through that.
Yes. And, now I did not actually nominate anything in this category, so because I didn't really read any graphic novels or collections last year, this I'm going to have to look into now. Again, C2E2 Good Con coming up for shopping.
Yep.
It's Paul Dini. I mean, for goodness sake, I'm sure it's...
The man doesn't write bad comics.
Right.
Chris, have you read Dark Knight, A True Batman Story?
No, but I hope to because I intend to, I should say, because the premise I really found compelling, and we should emphasize he wasn't just mugged like they took his money, like they brutally beat him.
Yes.
I mean, he ended up in the hospital. So apparently, as Pants mentioned, his long-standing ties to the Batman character helped him work through the trauma of recovering from that ordeal. So I'm very much looking forward to reading it.
All right. The next category is Best Writer, and the nominees are Jason Aaron, Kieran Gillen, Tom King, and Mark Waid. And the winner is... Jason Aaron.
Yes.
Chris, please.
Well, that was my nominee, and I'm very pleased he won, only because the amount of books Jason Aaron is weaving into gold right now. I mean, Thor, Southern Bastards, The Goddamned, Star Wars. I'm probably forgetting something because he's writing that many books. There are a few writers who have the ability, as he does, to touch upon all these different genres and make them all some of the top books in the comic book medium today. Whether you're looking for apocalyptic, biblical stuff in The Goddamned, intrigue and crime in the Southern Bastards, and the football culture of the Deep South. Star Wars speaks for itself. It's Aaron weaving tales of the original Star Warriors in the days between episodes 4 and 5. He's been writing Thor now for quite some time, both the Odinson Thor and now the Jane Foster Thor, and it's just been seamless, magnificent work on that part of the Marvel Universe from day one. Easily. And I forgot Doctor Strange. He's also writing Doctor Strange.
So he is.
And wonderfully turning that character on his head as well. His work is exciting. It's innovative. He breathes new life into characters we're familiar with, and he comes in with equally compelling new concepts. Also go back to his classic Vertigo series Scalp from some years back. He's one of the top scribes in comics in my book without question.
All right. So I guess the next category then is Best Artist. That's you.
Another somewhat it's Chris actually.
Oh, it's Chris. Okay. Well, then I will. Yeah. Okay. So you say it's a quite filled. It's a large category. The nominees in this category are Mike Allred, Bilquis Evely, Mikhail Janin, help me out here. Hanin, thank you. Phil Jimenez, Sean Phillips, and Gabriel Hernandez Walta.
And it is a tie, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God!
Tie between Mike Allred and Sean Phillips.
All right, we have to have like a
totally
draw-off.
different styles, both great.
Well, we're valuing diversity here, I guess. Yeah, and it's the only such tie we had, incidentally. We usually have like 2 or 3 of them. But this year, the voting, once again, was spread out very well. And we had clear winners in every category but this one.
All right. The next category is Best Writer Artist.
Yep. And this is one person who does both, by the way. There were one or two people during the nominations process who nominated a writer-artist duo in this category. They thought it was Best Writer-Artist Partnership, when it's actually one person who both writes and draws comics.
Okay.
And the nominees in that category were this year Jeff Lemire, Terry Moore, Eric Powell, and Matt Wagner. And the winner this year...
Rip it open.
Or I could just say Jeff Lemire.
Oh, okay.
As I knew all along. I didn't even need to look at the the Castellar font.
What font?
Paper.
But Bird, we appreciate your flair for the dramatic.
Thanks for the spin, Chris. Jeff Lemire. Yep, he was the people's choice in the nominations process, and they continue to support him strongly in the voting.
So let's see. So the next category then is Best Color Artist.
Mm-hmm. It is to you.
And the nominees are Laura Allred, Jordi Belair, Matt Wilson, and Jason Wright. And the winner is... Well, that's how Carson did it, for God's sake. If he can do it, I can do it. Jordi Belair.
Yep, Ms. Belair clobbered the competition
Wow,
this
but
year.
I mean, she's just like coloring every other book it seems.
She's everywhere.
She's everywhere.
Well, plus she worked on the Vision. I'm sure that alone got her a lot of votes.
Good point. Yep, she colors so many books, and she colors them all very well.
Yes. I think this is one of the categories that I was did not have a nominee for because I'm not that knowledgeable about the colorist. But I know the name, and I know she's on quite a lot of books.
Fortunately, the listener's second choice was Laura Allred, who's the colorist on Silver Surfer. So
Excellent.
I thought it fitting that that's a choice I know you'd approve of.
Oh, sure, absolutely, yes.
And she's also the second largest vote getter in this category.
All right. Then the penultimate category in tonight's awards.
He loves using that word,
I
ladies and gentlemen.
sure do. Is Best Letterer. And Chris will read the winner, but I'll read the nominees. The nominees in this category are Jason Arthur, Joe Caramagna,
Manya.
Thank you. Todd Klein, Dave Lampier. Mm-hmm. Okay, my eyesight is failing me here. Terry Moore and Russ Wooten.
And the winner is the great living modern master, Terry Moore.
Oh, excellent. Yes. He was my nominee in this category. And like I mentioned before, between Rachel Rising and Motor Girl, he does his own hand lettering on the pages, actually on one of the pages. And again, when he gets a character who is just like either yelling or screaming, you can just, the passion just drip from the lettering there. It's amazing. That's one of the visceral feels I get from reading his books. It's just, the hand lettering and just when the characters are like arguing or yelling. Man, you actually really can feel all that stuff. So I'm happy he won the award then for Best Letterer.
Yep. And, to take nothing away from the other nominees in that category, but as our friend Eric Nolan Wethington pointed out, he's the only person nominated this year who actually does his own hand lettering right there on the artboard.
Yes.
And, it's... It was a close call this year. It was a close competition towards coming into the home stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, the early voting, Terry Moore built up a lot of support at the beginning, but then Todd Klein came on like a house of fire in the latter half of the voting process and very nearly took it away from Terry Moore, but by one vote, Terry Moore is our award winner for 2016.
All right.
And Pants, let me compliment you there, Oshkosh, because your description of his letter, I think, really hit the nail on the head. And I never really thought of it that way before, but you're right. It's so visceral and so it so adds to the just the feel of the story that you're reading. And I didn't realize he did hand lettering. That's even more impressive. That's a lost art. So, bravo.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I do own an original page from Motor Girl with the hand lettering on it, and I looked closely, and you can sort of see blue lines, like actual lines, like lined paper. So he, it's actually, straight and like so. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. And actually, he did have on the page I have one correction, so I can look through up to the light and see the actual dialogue behind it. So that's kind of a cool thing. Just little things. I'm happy I actually got an original page. And
it's the little things that make life worth the living.
Exactly. And did I mention those books smell fantastic?
Yep.
From Abstract Studio. Okay, and now we've reached the final award for this evening. You hold it in your hand.
I hold in my hand
the final envelope.
Yes, I do. It is for the ultimate category.
That's correct.
In our 2016's award granting tonight. It is Breakthrough Talent of 2016. This is for a creator who finally, and the definition's a little loose and fluid as far as what constitutes breaking through.
Yeah, we may have to, we'll see how it's going. We may have to have some meet with our judges for next year.
Yeah, we may need to narrow the parameters for eligibility for this category. But it's someone whom the listeners deem to have really reached a new peak in his or her career in the course of the past year.
Or there.
True. His, her, or their. Right, because we do have a dual nominee. And the nominees for Breakthrough Talent of 2016 are, beginning with the sister act of Julie Benson and Shauna Benson, then Jody Hauser, Tom King, Mark Russell, artist on the Flintstones, and David F. Walker. And here it is. You can cut the tension with a knife. The winner is La La Land. No.
Oh, so you had to do that, didn't you?
Tom King. No. It's Julie Benson and Shauna Benson.
Oh, fantastic.
There it is. The king has been dethroned.
Oh, my God.
No hat trick for you, my friend Tom King. Julie Benson and Shauna Benson are victorious with nearly twice as many votes as Tom King got.
Oh, fantastic.
Just a little something for Julie to tease Tom about next time she sees
Well,
him.
hang on to that and give that to me when we see him in C2E2, the whole envelope and everything.
All right. And I think I chose a nice font for it, too. If you say so
What was the
myself.
font again?
Castellar.
Castellar?
Yeah. It has no lowercase, peculiarly enough.
Okay.
But, just kind of looks classy.
Okay. Well, they were originally the nominees by the listeners. They were my nominee. Again, I mentioned on the show they're just so passionate about comics, been longtime readers, and to finally get into comics, I know how excited they both are, and I believe it comes through in their work. And there's just so many nuances in the work that I have to go back and reread again or have someone point out to me online in a review.
Right. Like Beatles references, for example?
Well, I mean, it took me a while to get that one. I was so embarrassed about that one there. I should have known that right away. But, Star Wars references, pop culture references, and just a damn good story and interaction with the characters. It's like, because we mentioned they had big shoes to fill with this book. They took it on, and I'm so happy they won this award here, breaking through. And knocked off Tom King and won it twice in a row. He broke through twice, couldn't break through a third time.
Ran out of ceilings, I guess. But it's fine, Tom. You're a good friend of the show, too, and a damn talented writer. So congratulations to all the success that The Vision has had, and we wish you many future successes as well. Maybe you'll win in the Best Writer category eventually.
Not to mention, of course, Batman, Sheriff of Babylon. Mm-hmm. My goodness.
The list goes on.
It sure does. Omega Men, I think, was even
May it
out
continue to grow.
Wow. So that was several hoots there. Any thoughts on the whole process overall, Murd?
I think I've shared my general thoughts already. I'm very pleased with the response that we got, the number of ballots we got, and the diversity of the voting. It wasn't too lopsided in any category. With one or two exceptions. But thanks very much to everybody who took the time to fill out the ballots and send them in, and just to let us know that you're still listening and to tell us what you've been enjoying in comics, because we're always telling you what we like. It's nice for you to get the chance to make suggestions to us from time to time. And we will be now seeking out Dark Knight and the Flintstones, among other things, as a result of this whole fun awards-giving sequence of events that we go through every year.
And
Brother Murdo, thanks again for organizing this, of course.
Now, it was a pure pleasure, Chris.
Yes.
You are the tip of the spear when it comes to this effort.
I'm raising my spear high.
All right. So until next year. We'll kind of keep this up because you're still doing this again, right?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I'm in this for the long haul.
You put your tux back in mothballs?
Yeah. Well, it's I need to sing a concert in it in May, but
really?
Yeah. That's actually how I knew this thing would still fit. I've had it since college.
Oh my God!
Yep. So I wore it for the Lebanon County Choral Society's spring concert last year, and decided, what the hey.
What the hey?
I've been threatening to wear this thing for these awards for a couple of years now, and Chris, I have you to thank for being available only at 8 o'clock tonight. It gave me enough time after work to be able to change.
Terrific. Happy to oblige, sir. It was
this tuck's for you.
Unaware of it. You look quite dapper, my friend. Quite
Thank
dapper.
you, sir.
Well, I got a few minutes left here, so what else could we do? I wonder.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh? Come on.
Dressed up for this? Oh, what the heck? I'm actually dressed for
yes.
part virtuoso tonight.
Okay, once again, it's time for our trivia segment here on the show, Muddle the Murd. Now, in our last Muddle the Murd, you actually were muddled.
I was.
So we have a new set of prizes this time. And if you happen to muddle the Murd, you are playing for, first, we have the Star Wars poster that has been remarked by Mike Mayhew. I believe that is Rey.
Right, yeah.
Profile of Rey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's autographed by Mayhew, and who also provided art for that from the journals of Ben Kenobi story in Star Wars this past year, which I thought was just beautifully done.
But also going along with this prize, if you happen to muddle the Murd, is a sketch card of the Invisible Woman by Mr. Alan Davis.
Oh, this is like
wow.
So, yes, that is our prize package for this segment.
Look at
there
that.
we go. For a second there, I thought it was just blank.
Of Muddle the Murd. All right, so this entry comes to us from Jason Keene. He says, "Greetings from the Sunshine State. Before I jump into the questions, I just wanted to let you guys know how much I've enjoyed the show over the years, and thank you for continuing to put out a quality podcast that always moves to the top of my playlist when it comes out. I try to be fair, yet tough with my questions to Mr. Murdo.
That's all I can ask, Jason.
So good luck, sir. Question 1, pre-1970s Marvel. Avengers number 58 from 1968. The Vision shows up expressing his desire to join the team. The Avengers present at the time are Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Goliath, Wasp, Hawkeye, and the Black Panther. One of the Avengers takes it upon himself or herself to pick a fight with the Vision to find out more about his powers. While most of the others joined in, I'd like to know who started the fight." You have a 1 in 7 chance.
All right. My guess is going to be Goliath.
Chris. I'm wrong, obviously.
Oh.
I haven't read this in a long time. I'm going to say the Black Panther.
Captain America.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, the Panther would have been my second guess, Chris.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Cap as a strategist and tactician want to get the Vision's measure. So, good question.
All right. Question 2, 1970 to 2000 Independent. Cross-Gen. Scion number 1 from 2000.
Good book.
The youngest son of the Huron dynasty awakes on his 21st birthday thanks to his older brothers and a bucket of water. While his brothers sported names like Kai and Artor, the young prince has a much more common name. What is it?
Never read this in my life, so this is going to have to be a guess.
This could be quite a yoink if you do a yoink here.
Robert.
No, I'm sorry. Did you read this book you said, Chris?
I did, and it's wonderful, but I don't remember the name of the character.
Okay, the character's name is Ethan.
Okay.
That's right. All right.
Okay, question 3, 2000 onward, DC. Gotham City Sirens. From 2009, in issue 5, a robot that looks like the Joker explodes, catching Selena Kyle's house, which is the unofficial HQ of the Sirens, on fire. In what plant-based way does poison ivy extinguish the fire?
What plant-based? Okay, there's a number of different ways this could go. She dumps the water out of giant pitcher plants that she has on the premises.
No, I'm sorry. She grew a barrel cactus houseplant to an enormous size, then sliced it open, drenching the fire.
Okay. No, that's true. They do have they do store quite a bit of water in their cellulose. Those barrel cacti. Yeah.
Right. Well, unfortunately, you've been muddled for a second straight time.
So I have.
Well, this coming weekend is the premiere in the theaters of movie Logan.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I've already bought my ticket now. As I always say on the show, I have more or less pretty much avoided anything to do with this movie. The only few things I know about is Hugh Jackman's in it.
Yes, he is.
I believe someone who may or may not be X-23 is in it. And that it takes its basic premise from the Old Man Logan stories in Marvel. Is that correct?
It appears that way based on the trailer. Yes.
Okay. So without giving too much away, because I'm not familiar with the material, but I believe was it Bendis who wrote the Old Man Logan story?
I thought it was
No, it was Mark Miller.
Mark Miller, okay. And is it essentially like Old Man Logan based? Is that what it is? I mean, as an older man because he's so indestructible? I mean,
It's set in the future. That's about all I know about it.
okay. Because
You want me to give the premise of the comic, Pants?
the comic, yes, if you would, please, sir.
So in the comic, it's wonderful. It's far in the future of the Marvel Universe, and almost all the heroes that we know of are dead.
Oh, okay.
And Wolverine, because of his healing factor, which slows down his mortality, is Old Man Logan. As you know, he's much older, but he's still alive. And it's just about how he's trying to sort of live a peaceful life, and it gets drawn back into the politics of this sort of post-apocalyptic Marvel universe, where many of the villains and some non-villains hold sway in different sort of fiefdoms. I remember there's even a map they draw of this new world and how it's divided up into different fiefdoms controlled by different characters. All I'll say is that it's a classic Wolverine story. I mean, I highly recommend it. It's obviously available in trade.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say two things just to further whet your appetite.
Okay.
Hawkeye
Oh!
and the Spider-Mobile. And that's all I'll say. So all I'll say about that, without spoiling anything, Pants, just based on the film trailer, and this is not a spoiler, it looks like they're going to incorporate at least the spirit of the book.
Okay.
And probably it looks like they're going to fold it, and this is just a guess, fold it into sort of the X universe that the movies have established.
Okay.
Basically.
Because I had some time this past weekend, and I dug out my my Blu-rays, so I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine. I watched The Wolverine, and X-Men Days of Future Past.
Great film.
So I watched all those. Now, I know that I guess the X-Men Origins sort of got a bad rap.
It did. Yeah, the treatment of Deadpool was a big part of that.
After seeing the Deadpool movie, and remember, because that came out in 2009, the Origins movie. I haven't seen it since then, so it's been almost 8 years, for goodness sake. And yeah, it was kind of like.
I remember it being a pretty flat film myself.
Yeah, but just want to get back into the spirit, because sometimes I do this. Okay, I'm getting real jazzed. Again, they're using jazz for Logan this weekend. And The Wolverine was a wonderful movie, I guess.
Oh, I like the movie immensely, yep.
Based on the Frank Miller miniseries, I believe, when he goes to Japan. And then, of course, Days of Future Past, where I guess in the actual comics it was more of a Kitty Pryde story was more the main focus.
Yes, she was the one who was projected back in time to warn the X-Men instead of
But I see in the films how it worked with Wolverine. And it was great to see the old cast and the new cast come together. And, Wolverine's sort of rebooting some things, and I guess X-Men 3 is no longer, doesn't matter anymore. So that sort of takes me up to present-day cinematic Wolverine. So I am looking very much forward to Logan to see what they do with that.
Me too. Well, I think Hugh Jackman, I was reading an article in the Times about how, he's preparing to sort of hang up the character, and he's been playing the character for 17 years.
Yep.
And so if this is indeed a swan song, and you never know, but that's what they're saying. I'm very excited about it because I think he owns the character in terms of the cinematic universe. From the moment I saw him in the original X-Men, when I saw him in the original X-Men movie, stalking around that makeshift boxing ring in that bar in Canada. And just the way he was carrying himself, I said, oh, he's got it. He's Wolverine, and he's yet to disappoint me. Even in the lousy X-Men films, he makes them better. So I'm very, very excited for this film and to see how he takes the character out, basically.
Anything else in anyone's mind you want to bring up here?
Well, yes, actually. I'd like to... I'll do just a quick plug here for my own sake.
Okay.
I'd actually meant to do this in the last episode, but it slipped my mind. Our friend Dr. Eamon Clark over in the United Kingdom he's been doing his own podcast for a little while now. Mm-hmm. It's called the Mega City Book Club. Mm-hmm. And in this podcast, Eamon discusses, analyzes, and generally waxes nostalgic about various collected editions of the seminal British comics anthology series 2000 AD.
Because, as we all know...
Everything comes back
to 2000 AD.
Yes. Here's to you, Flint Lockjaw, wherever you are. Yeah. So I was a guest on Eamon's podcast recently, and we recorded an episode talking about
Episode 26.
Thank you. About DR and Quinch, which is the tale of two. It's the ultra-violent misadventures of two alien juvenile delinquents as they blunder around in outer space, and it's by the dream team of Alan Moore and Alan Davis.
Get out!
Oh, I will not get out. Such comics exist. I mean, they had a great run on Captain Britain too, which is available in trade, and I would recommend to anybody. But this is straight humor comics. It's not that much material. It was all in just one volume. But we talked about that volume, every DR and Quinch story that Allens, Moore, and Davis did together. And if you go to megacitybookclub.blogspot.co.uk.
Wow.
Or
you knew at the top of your head.
Yeah, or just Google Mega City Book Club. Either one's.
Or check out our Twitter feed, because I did retweet that when he put that out.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. That's where you can find Eamon and I talking about this British Jim Dandy of a comic, which he gave to me as a Christmas present
British
years ago.
Jim Dandy of a comic.
Why not?
You are quite the wordsmith, sir.
I'm doing the best I can.
Wow, very cool. Again, now you say that it's Alan Moore and Alan Davis. Like, good God, my head was exploding. How did I not know about this? It's like, again, I live in a box, small box, and I got to get out and.
I can hand my collected edition into your box.
You
if you
could
like.
do that. Wow, I think you should. It's Bird's Book Club
in Mega City.
In Mega City. Chris, any news for the upcoming free comic book day sale you have lined up?
Just that I'll begin to assemble a large amount of new back issues in the months to come for that event in the beginning of May. People can count on a generous – we haven't established the sale parameters yet, but they can certainly count on generous discounts on everything in the store that's comic-related. We're going to have – I'm not sure if it's a raffle or auction. We're going to do something in terms of very generous prizes, artist editions, wall books, statues. We've got a lot of stuff ready to go for the day. So anybody who's in the area or within driving distance, or you just happen to find yourselves in New Jersey during your travels, please join us. Again, many cast members of the show will be there. Murd's going to be there. Pants is going to be there. Hopefully Shane can make it, and who knows who else.
Yeah, that'll be Saturday, May 6th for free comic book day.
May 6th.
Yeah, Wild Pig Comics.
And the night before, of course, I'm sure we'll be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
So, yeah, there'll be more information on that certainly within the next couple months. But I strongly encourage any listener can get over there, because A, we love to meet listeners, and B, again, Wild Pig is a store where the comic book is still, especially the back issue comic, is celebrated. So
yes.
You're going to find a fine selection. I mean, we have 30,000 back issues. Most of them are 50 cents. We've brought back our wall. We have wall books now again. We'll have more by the time of the sale. And our sticker comics are always priced below guide, and then they'll be discounted on top of that. So please join us.
Yeah, I saw your wall books have been growing. You just recently sold, I guess it was Cap 109, the origin of Captain America.
Yep.
I saw.
Just picked that up beginning of this month, and we sold it this past weekend. I really missed wall books. I'm glad I brought them back. We're making some adjustments and changes to the store, which I'll probably talk about in a future previews or comic talk episode. The emphasis on back issues is going to be stronger than ever in my shop.
I love it.
Because besides loving them, unlike a lot of other items, they actually have a good profit margin. So, yeah, more news on that to come.
Very good. All right, anything else before we wrap it up, gentlemen, before the echo makes me go crazy in my head?
I think we shot our bolts there, Chino.
Do you have a list by your desk of all these pants references? Do you, or are you just top of your head thinking of these things?
Honey pie, they just pop into my head.
Honey pie.
Lifetime of reading, I just know all these wonderful synonyms for the word pants. Or at least, brands of pants, since Chino's, I believe, is a brand. I can call you slacks. I've used that one before.
Yeah.
Riches.
Yeah, just save them up. Make them last.
Yeah.
No, okay, I think we can turn off the lights and head to the after party.
Oh, there's an after party.
Yes, it's called Going Home.
Oh, is that what it's called? Going home and editing the episode together,
Yeah,
cutting all the echoing, probably.
And I've got research to do for an upcoming Spotlight episode.
Oh, yes.
He dropped that. Mm-hmm. All right. Wake up!
Oh, that's right. I have to.
It's your job.
I'm sane tonight. Oh no. Right, just a minute. I don't know if this is going to be edited out or not, but
we'll keep it in. It's all fun.
okay. I need to get to the. All right. If you'd like to send us an email, our address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, the number to call is 267-702-6642. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Comic Geek Speak. You can like us on Facebook. We encourage everyone to visit our forum website at thecomicforums.vanillaforums.com, where you can leave feedback for this and many other episodes of our podcast, and also participate in comics-related discussions with other CGS listeners and anyone else who happens to blunder in from the internet. We'd like to thank everyone who donates to the show recently or in the distant past. Really appreciate it. Couldn't continue to do the show without you. We also thank everyone who submitted your nominations and or votes for the Best of 2016 awards. You helped to make this awards season great. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
You got it on Wednesday, and it was like about it going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything that geeks love. From cakes and laser beams